the world, Bosco. Bosco, the world. And I've got Bosco in here to illustrate the problem that a lot of us would like to solve with our Jeeps. Now, I gotta say, does anything look more awesome than a German Shepherd in a Jeep? I mean, can you do better than that? I don't think so. Problem is, his view is blocked by this tire. The driver's view is blocked by this thing. The driver's view is really blocked by the time you add the top, the narrowed window area, and this huge motor for the windshield wiper. We'll come back to that issue later. But one of the problems we wanted to solve was around town, for instance, or you don't need to haul this tire. If you have a problem, your friend's going to come get you. Somebody will help you out. It's not a big deal, but when you want to get the dogs in and out, or kids in and out, or just other stuff, you may not always want your gate on the Jeep. Trouble is, the factory has permanently bolted the gate, and absent a socket wrench, it gets pretty complicated. So our solution was to get out the trusty old diamond blade saw. Pretend for a minute this is your factory original pin. It's a 3/8 inch pin. So you just wear some goggles so you don't get some metal in your eye. And you sit here and you brace yourself and you take your Makita or whatever brand you got and you just go up against that pin and you cut through it. And once you've got each of those pins cut, you take yourself the biggest screwdriver you've got, wedge it in between them, get out a hammer, and you can gradually pry it back and forth, get a gap, pound them out each direction. Then you can get these pins. These are removable pins with what's called a retaining clip. And these things only cost about $4. That's a 3/8 inch one. Drops right in. The clip holds it in, although that's not a big issue here. These are mainly made in the farming industry and other things where they're sideways, and you don't want them vibrating out. These are like $18. They're a brass color. I painted it flat black. But these are in the racing industry, and a lot of companies sell them. You can find them on eBay and Amazon, link out to the company websites. I think Grainger, Fastenal, Tacoma Screws sell them. Push button on the top operates the two little buttons on the bottom. Pin drops right in. Nice clean look. Not so much gear as this, although you could paint that the color of the vehicle if you wanted to. This guy pops right in and out. Pretty slick, pretty clean looking. You can also get a little retaining wire. Runs over, it'll tie it to this bracket. So you're out at the campsite, you're in your garage, you're not going to end up dropping the pin in the mud or the dirt or the ditch, and you want to leave and you got to find the darn pin, and it's golly knows where it is. So you can actually tie it on there if you want to. Then it dawned on me, and I ain't done this yet, but of course your Jeep comes with this decorative cover here. And I'm willing to bet you can take your saw or take a grindstone on a drill and put a notch in for that guy, and really you'd have your perfect factory look back, come back to the little bit of the rear with this thing, and you'd look pretty normal around town. Which is part of how we're doing this build is around town this thing can look as normal as possible, but when you go out in the woods you can gear it up to do what you want it to do. So that's a pretty slick system. When you want to take the gate off, you're going to have to deal with this wire. You'll have one of these long black covers back here, so you pop that off, take a screwdriver, pull out these little retaining wires. There's two wires here. This guy just deals with your key. All these run to a computer board now. Well, when I pull it, nothing happens, everything's fine, could care less about the key connection, didn't affect any settings. Let's go, stay. Good boy. This other guy, though, he runs your third brake light. And I looked it up, and by law, you got to have a third brake light. We'll deal with that in another clip. But anyway, you push the button, wrench this guy apart with a screwdriver or your fingers, toss this wire in your Jeep, unhitch this gate, and put it out of the way. Now, you got a great open-looking Jeep, lots of room. The dog loves it. He'll have a full view. He can get in and out without having to mess with the gate. Couldn't do better than that. And it's fair all the way around. Driver's got more visibility, the Jeep's more open for tossing stuff in and out, and the dog will have a great time. In the next clip, I'm going to talk about some netting over here and wiring and third brake lighting issues. So that's where we are right now. We're getting ready to release Bosco after the next clip.